Yeah, hi there. These comments are for one of my students, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL iBT. And I'm reading your essay right now. Okay, now here's my first, I think, insight into your essay. Okay, now if we look at this statement, so do you agree or disagree with this? You do deal with it, and you kind of answer this in the introduction, and you kind of frame what's going to happen in the paper, but take a look at your topic sentences. It says, teachers should be paid according to how much your students learn. You say they are the future makers, but you don't say if you agree or disagree with this statement. So your topic sentence in that second paragraph doesn't really fit around the purpose, I think, of the writing. Now let's try the next one. Teachers should be paid according to how much your students learn. Teachers deserve a reasonable salary, right? It not exactly answers that question. Right? And then you don't really directly answer it here. So teachers should be paid. You said being a teacher, their job won't be finished when they go out of school. So part of what you have to do is, it's not just the introduction, but you have to make sure the purpose of the writing is clear in all the body paragraphs. All the arguments, the details, everything that you're saying, it needs to relate back. Alright, so now what we got to figure out is, what can we do to get this essay back on track? We want to get it back on track. We want to get everything where it's focusing around this purpose, so it's all unified around a common goal. Right? So I think it first begins with your thesis. You see there are many reasons why teachers play an important role. But state what the reasons are. You say teachers are the future makers. And let's see your next idea. I'm going to take your points. They deserve reasonable salaries, we will say. And what is the last point that you make in your last one? See, you need to give a purpose for each of your paragraphs. You're not really doing that. So it looks like you're saying that they have an enormous workload. You're saying they're very busy, right? They have to do a lot of things. So then, you might say, which is why they should be paid So we might say that. So what I did is, I'm taking your body paragraphs, trying to tie them together here. You see, we consider teachers as second parents. You might want to say by seeking their advice by sharing our problems, and maybe say being guided by them to succeed. That's probably how I would say that. We consider our teachers as second parents by seeking their advice, sharing our problems, and being guided by them to succeed in life. If you want to make this grammatically correct, use however. However, some students will say that not all of them will be considered effective teachers. Now, just putting that sentence in the middle of your paragraph without integrating it within your own writing, it doesn't work. But what if you say this? In my opinion, I disagree. A teacher should be paid according to how much your students learn. So if you choose to put the exact sentence here in your paragraph, you want to quote it. If you don't, it's plagiarism. So you definitely want to make sure you're quoting it. Teachers should be paid no matter what. Begin a new sentence here so you don't have a comma splice. Go to Google. What is a comma splice? It's exactly what you just did. The teacher should be paid no matter what. It should not depend on the student's learning, because not all the students are the same. Some students want to learn and some students do not want to learn. We should not only put the responsibility of these students to learn on their teachers, but also maybe expect it both ways, the students and the teachers. Teachers are the future makers. They deserve reasonable salaries, and they have a huge workload of teaching and grading, which is why they should be paid regardless of whether the students learn what is being taught. So now what do we do? Remember that we have to answer this question. We have to take this statement and make sure that each topic sentence connects back to that. So then you might say, first of all, teachers' pay should not be based on how much students learn. Teachers are the future makers. Because we can say this: teachers are the future makers. Without our teachers, we want to use hypothetical here, we would not have doctors who care for the sick people. How about this? High paying doctors, and this earn a good amount of money. It didn't work very well here, so I'm trying to get rid of that. Without our teachers, we would not have high-paying doctors who care for the sick people and lawyers who advise. Make this a verb, not a noun. lawyers who advise clients concerning business transactions, claim liability, advisability, defending lawsuits, or legal rights and obligations. Without teachers, important people would not be able to be important. Therefore, obviously, teachers deserve to be paid accordingly, since they effectively prepare many of their students to have successful, high-earning jobs. Now, I think we still need to say something else here. You need to develop this paragraph more. But my point is, you see what I did in the topic here? Teachers' pay should not be based on how much students learn, because teachers are the future makers. So I'm trying to make sure that my topic sentence, it matches the purpose of the writing, which is this. Now we'll take this another step when we get to the next paragraph. I just want to make sure we know what our purpose is with every paragraph. Then I'm going to use a conditional. If teachers perform, and then so I'm saying if teachers are paid according to how their students perform, and some of these students perform poorly due to laziness and excessive absences, both of which are beyond teachers' control, unfair, possibly many teachers would quit the profession to find a more rewarding career. That's it. I think we have it. Notice how this first idea, the future makers, I'm tying it back to my first point in the thesis, right? And the next thing is they deserve reasonable salaries, right? So if I say first of all, then I'm going to say second of all. Teachers should not be based on how their students learn the course content. I think you're making a good point here. So second of all, teachers deserve maybe reasonable salaries, so their pay should not be based on how the students learn the course content. Good teaching by good teachers is fundamental to workers in all careers, and the workers are the creators of a country's future economic prosperity. Teachers play a big role in society, but their salary does not seem to show this. You might say this. How about annual? Use one of your vocabulary words, am I right? So teachers play a big role in society, but their salary does not seem to show this. In fact, the average salary for many teachers in the United States is less than $50,000. Hence, the median pay for teachers is below the pay for other professions that also require BA and MA degrees. So we're just trying to illustrate your point a little bit more here. Hence, the median pay for teachers is below the pay for other professions that also require BA, MA, and PhD degrees. Teachers use their knowledge, they use their money, and they use their time to prepare the future of others while their present financial situation is being ignored. If these teachers pay maybe was reduced because of underperforming students, their pay would be even lower than it is now. We'll say teachers' pay should not be based on students' performance. Okay, I think we have it there. Alright, so I think that we're moving in the right direction here. Okay, let's look at this paragraph one more time. Second of all, teachers deserve reasonable salaries, so their pay should not be based on how the students learn the course content. Good teaching by good teachers is fundamental to workers in all careers, and workers are the creators of a country's future economic prosperity. Teachers play a big role in society, but their salary does not seem to show this. In fact, the average salary for many teachers in the United States is less than $50,000 annually. Hence, the median pay for teachers is below the pay for other professions that also require BA, MA, and PhD degrees. Teachers use their knowledge, they use their money, and they also use their time to prepare the future of others while their present financial situation is being ignored. If these teachers' pay was reduced because of underperforming students, their pay would be even lower than it is now. Consequently, in order to maintain fairness, teachers' pay should not be based on students' performance. Okay, we got it. So now we need to go to our next paragraph. Again, what I'm going to do is, I just want to remind us, what are we trying to do in each paragraph? Teachers, being a teacher, the job won't be finished when they go out of school. Again, What you're saying here is a fact. It's not arguable, and it's not going to work as a topic sentence. So you have to create a more arguable topic sentence. Let's go back to the thesis. Remember that you didn't really have a thesis. This is why I put this in here. By having a more specific thesis, it's easier to organize your topic sentences. If you have a very vague, unclear thesis, then you're going to struggle with creating sharply focused topic sentences. So we see this huge workload of teaching and grading, right? How about that? Teachers pay Now, we've answered the question. So due to heavy workload of teaching and grading, then we'll say here, due to heavy workload of teaching and grading, teachers' pay should not be based on how much your students learn. So we'll have this. So teachers' jobs are not finished when they leave the classrooms. Okay, let's give you some sentence variety here. Often working day and night even when they reach home. Teachers finish grading homework. Checking all the work or test papers that the student submitted to them, and etc. The time that they are supposed to be with the families is replaced by the time needed to complete their, how about labor intensive let's see what we have here. Alright, so we kind of need to finish it up here. So if these overworked teachers are paid according to how students perform, and if many of the students do not perform well due to other factors not related to teaching, these teachers will be less motivated to complete all of the preparation and grading that they need to do in order to help or to prepare their students academically, which will hurt these students' future careers. I think we have it. That's pretty much it. Now notice the different paragraphs. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had to recreate new topic sentences for your body paragraphs because you really didn't have any topic sentences, and that is going to result in a lower writing score for you. Even see how I did this one? So I took all my topics and I tied them back to my thesis here. That's what you're seeing in the essay. So now we have to take a look at our conclusion. So therefore, teachers play a vital role in our life. We should appreciate them, give them the benefit that they deserve. They should receive the amount of respect maybe they should receive the amount of respect they deserve, and their salary, you need your verb, should not be based on students' knowledge. Okay, I'm going to kind of end it. The video is too long anyway. But basically, in the conclusion, I would also encourage you here to restate these points that we've already mentioned here in these body paragraphs. And that helps tighten everything together even more, right? So let's see how many words that we have here. What do we got? So we have about 600 words here. So we've developed your different paragraphs. Now if you feel it's too long, then just do two body paragraphs and forget about saying that one. Alright, if you feel like this is too long to do for you to do in 30 minutes, and just stick with 2 body paragraphs. Okay, let's go ahead and spell check our document here. We'll read it one more time. Alright, let's take a look at it one more time. I'll make a few more corrections. We consider our teachers as second parents by seeking their advice, sharing our problems, and being guided by them to succeed in life. However, some students will say that not all of them will be considered effective teachers. In my opinion, I disagree that teachers should be paid according to how much the students learn. Teachers should be paid no matter what. Should be paid, how about this, So teachers should be paid a reasonable salary no matter what. It should not depend on the students learning, because not all the students are the same. Some students want to learn, some do not. We should not only put the responsibility of the students to learn on their teachers, but also expect it both ways Maybe say that, between the students and the teachers. Teachers are the future makers. This is point number 1. They deserve reasonable salaries. Point number 2. They have a huge workload of teaching and grading. Point number 3, which is why they should be paid regardless of whether the students learn what is being taught. So then we just simply move on. First of all, teachers' pay should not be based on how much students learn, because teachers are the future makers. Without our teachers, we would not have high-paying doctors who care for the sick people and lawyers who advise clients concerning business transactions, claim liability, advisability, defending lawsuits, or legal rights and obligations. Without teachers, important people would not be able to be important. Therefore, obviously, teachers deserve to get paid accordingly, since they effectively prepare many of their students to have successful high-earning jobs. If teachers are paid according to how their students perform, and if some of these students perform poorly due to laziness and excessive absences, both of which are beyond teachers' control, it would be unfair. Possibly many teachers would quit the profession to find more rewarding careers. Second of all, teachers deserve reasonable salaries, so their pay should not be based on how students learn the course content. Good teaching by good teachers is fundamental to workers in all careers, and workers are the creators of a country's future economic prosperity. Teachers play a big role in society, but their salary does not seem to show this. In fact, the average salary for many teachers in the U.S. is less than $50,000 annually. Hence, the median pay for teachers is below the pay for other professions that also require BA, MA, and PhD degrees. Teachers use their knowledge, they use their money, and they use their time to prepare the future of others while their present financial situation is being ignored. Now, we have to say this at the end because we have to connect this idea back to the argument you're trying to make. This is important. Without this, your paragraph doesn't work as well. If these teachers' pay was reduced because of underperforming students, their pay would even be lower than it is now. Consequently, in order to maintain fairness, teachers' pay should not be based on students' performance. Or maybe make it plural, performances. Third of all, due to maybe the heavy workload of teaching and grading, teachers' pay should not be based on how much your students learn. Teachers' jobs are not finished when they leave their classrooms, often working day and night even when they reach home. Teachers finish their grading. They finish maybe grading homework, checking all the work or test papers that students submitted to them, and etc. The time that they're supposed to be with their families is replaced by the time needed to complete their labor-intensive grading and lesson preparation tasks. If these overworked teachers are paid according to how their students perform, and if many of these students do not perform well due to other factors not related to teaching, these teachers will be less motivated to complete all of the preparation and grading that they need to do in order to prepare their students academically, which will hurt these students' future careers. Then we have our conclusion. And I said in the conclusion, you should probably restate, in not exactly the same words, but you should restate some of the key points in your body paragraphs. All right, now that we've gone through, I've looked at the essay, I looked at your introduction, your body paragraphs, I made some changes, I organized things a little bit better, I added some things, I took out others, I polished and corrected some of your grammar errors. The question is, what is your score and why? So I think it fits. I almost put it in the 3 range, but here it addresses a topic and task. But if you remember when we went through those body paragraphs, a lot of times you weren't directly addressing the topic and the task. You remember when I put that teachers should be paid based on how much students learn, and you disagree with that statement, your topic sentences didn't really connect to that purpose. So that's why I put you in the 2 range. I gave you 2.75 out of 5, 18 points out of 30 on the practice test. Now, for the purposes of our class, I'm going to put you at 73% on this writing assignment. Now the question is, what do you do, if anything? I mean, to get better. I think one of them, a good thing, is to start coming to class on time. That would be a great thing. Show me you're serious about your learning. Start sending me some speaking practice tests by internet so I can give you some feedback on that. I know what your goals are, but you're not really giving me any information so I can help you. There's no way I can help you get 27 on the speaking until you start sending me speaking practice tests. So it's all up to you. You have to determine how serious you are about your learning. And I don't know at this point how serious you are, because if you want to get 27 on the TOEFL speaking, you're going to have to do a lot of practice. You're going to need to submit at least 40 or 50 different speaking practice tests over the next couple of months before you will have solved the problems that you need to solve. So you need to practice a lot more. That would be one thing that I think is going to help you. But let's go to my website here. Let me give you some perspective here. So if we go to the writing section of my course, and we're trying to figure out right now what you can do, what lessons are going to help you the most here. I think one of them is lesson number 4, creating sharply focused thesis statements for independent writing tasks. You did not do that. I think you need to learn that lesson. Lesson 4.1, a simple, direct approach for answering TOEFL iBT independent writing tasks. I think that's going to be effective for you. Also, I know that you've gone through the lesson, but you have not mastered the concepts. I'd like you to look at lesson number 7.1 and also lesson number 8, how to make your writing more coherent. But that's not enough. If you want to improve your writing, start completing more practice tests. This is not a requirement in my class, but if you want to do it for some extra help, remember that I have a teaching assistant. I'm paying him $12 an hour, and he will read and correct all of the writing practice tests that you submit. You will probably never ever have a teacher that will give you this kind of feedback and this service ever. So I encourage you to take advantage of this right now while we are still together as a teacher and a student. So what you can do is you can start going through some of these independent writing practice tests and send the link to me when you're done, or just tell me, hey Michael, I need you to score my independent writing practice at 16. I'll send it over to my teaching assistant. He'll read it, score it, and give you some comments. So if you practice, and practice a lot, you will find that you will be able to improve your writing. Alright, so those are my general comments to you right now. Anyway, thank you for completing the writing practice test, and I hope that you'll take some of what I'm saying to your heart and then try to make some changes before you do the final exam, because what I want to do is I want to give you a score of 375 or higher. That means 24 points or higher on the writing final exam. That's my goal for you. Now, of course, I can't just give you that score. You have to earn that score. You have to have very good, organized writing with not too many errors. You have to be able to do that in order to get that score. It's possible you can do it if you practice.